Yeah, 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 I guess I'm streaming now. Streaming in a tin can. Okay, we're gonna do a little synopsis about what happened last night with this keyboard setup thing. And before I get into all that, I'm just setting up my stream. Um, what's this here? Anything useful? Anyway, so basically, to go over what I was talking about yesterday, there were two keys on the keyboard that didn't make any sound. Now, I'm wondering if I should turn that monitor off. Um, the high C key on the right. Actually, no, I'm gonna do. Actually, no. Just leave it. There must be a way to not monitor my microphone. Hello, hello, hello. Where's my Twitch? The sound coming into Twitch from the keyboard and stuff seemed kind of loud. Now, I guess before I go into that, I've discovered that so my keyboard, my guitar, and the other computer goes into this mixer. And the output of this mixer, this particular mixer that I just mentioned, goes into another mixer. And that mixer sends the information to the main computer. Now, when I connect the two mixers up together, listen very carefully. Like right now, there's no humming sound. If you listen, I'll keep my mouth shut and turn the mic down. I mean, it's like really super quiet. So now I'm going to connect the two mixers together and listen to what happens. So you can hear in the background there's a humming sound. And what that is, it's created by a ground. It's a ground loop. So one of the mixers picks up the ground sound from the other one, if it's not grounded or whatever. And that sound is pretty low. It's a little bit annoying, but it's low. Let me fix my other computer setup over here. Hopefully I can get into this in a little bit more detail as far as the repair and that sort of thing. No, I'm not going to listen to a 40-second ad, piss off. Or watch a 40-second ad. So the key on the right over here, this one, oh my God, are you seriously kidding me? Yeah, just stay there because I really don't care. I'm gonna try it again here. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. Okay, that's good. I'll deal with that. And I gotta freeze that one. It's early in the morning. I don't expect any visitors. I really don't care. I'm doing this for my own personal use anyway, and I'm sure that I'll get some views. once the videos go to YouTube and stuff. And again, I do apologize for my slightly colorful language for about a half an hour last night. I'll tell you what that was related to. So, the whole idea about what I was trying to do is connect the keyboard to the computer, which is down on the floor in here. And I tried to get Windows XP installed and run this Midi software with Windows XP, and I couldn't get it done. So I gave up on it and put Windows 7 on it. Because I know it worked with Windows 7 on this other computer that I've got going. And so we connected the software. I used a program called Midi, and I successfully could see the data going from the keyboard into the computer. And I'm not 100% sure if the data was saved correctly, because when I saved all data, for some reason, it only saved. Oh no, I remember what it was now, because I used another program called Change It, and when I looked at that, there was a section in there that you could look at the programs, you could look at the combinations, you could look at the global and something else. I forget what it was. There was 4 choices in there, but you couldn't see any of the sequencer information. So, what are you going to do? I thought it was a success, but I'm still not 100% sure. Then when I started using this program called Change It, I was able to load sequencer data from one of the disks, and I saved that, and I could tell that it was more data. I believe, it is my firm belief, that it saved the entire sequencer data, which is the songs. I had 9 songs on there, and I sent that through the Midi program. And it only uses what's called a manual dump. So I go to the keyboard and I cycle through the pages, and I get to the global area where it says to dump all data. And so I did that, and I came up with like 109,000 K bytes of disk, 109K. A disk itself, when you save the data with the computer using a certain program, it saves like 720K. Now, the 720K might not be all the data. It just does an image. It does a raw image of the entire disk, which is 720K. So there might only be 200 or 300K of data on the disk. So there's that situation. And so some of the disks, the computer program, it wouldn't read them at all. I went through 2 or 3 different disk drives. I went through 2 computers. And there's even another computer downstairs, which I'm going to attempt to run that computer maybe today, and so on and so forth, and see if the different disk drives, sometimes hardware works better with certain other computers, and I've got older ones, and I seem to have a little bit more problem with the newer computers. They don't seem to work very good with the lower operating systems, for whatever reason. Now, it could be because drivers are missing. I don't know. But Windows 7 kind of puts a lot of the drivers in for you, and I didn't see that there was anything missing in the device file. So, because I had what I was considering failed discs and a lot of lost music that I wrote over the years, I decided that I was going to work on this software program to connect the MIDI from the keyboard to the computer. And so that was what all that debacle was last night. Now tonight today, this morning, I'm just going to really try to focus on the repair itself. I'm going to go through some files that I have on my computer and look for the repair information and go over it. So, like I was mentioning before, this one key at the end, when I push the key down, the sound would go continuously. It would just go continuously. Now, if I use the keyboard on the bottom to control the keyboard on the top, the sound didn't do that, and it plays the sound. So all the sounds from down here will play the MIDI, will send the MIDI information up here, and it will play the sounds on this keyboard perfectly fine. Even though the volume might be, there's something wrong with the MIDI volume, or, you know, whatever that is. I don't know about that yet. There's no information I can find on how to control the output of this keyboard. Why would I even want to do that, you know? It should be just a direct contact. It plays a MIDI note. There should be no, you know, there may be a velocity sensitive thing that's causing this. And in fact, there might be a setting on this where you can turn the velocity setting on and off, and that may have something to do with it. I don't know. That's a separate issue. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is now I've taken the MIDI cable off of this computer and put it into this patch bay, which is kind of hidden under here. And so it's definitely a MIDI output. Now, last night I tried channel 3 MIDI, and I set the channel. I did it with Change It, but I didn't do it with the other program called MIDI Aux. And I don't know if I'm going to go into that tonight, or this morning, or not, because I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this repair. So that's kind of that situation. I know that the Korg will receive MIDI data because obviously it receives it from this keyboard. So it should receive it from a computer. It should also receive it from a drum machine. Now, the MIDI information coming out of a controller might be a different setting, and it might be what's called a general MIDI setting. Whereas this keyboard originally is not set up for general MIDI. It has its own MIDI type of setup. Now, general MIDI puts the different instruments in different MIDI locations, and so I don't know, you know, why they didn't set it up for general MIDI in the first place. I have no idea. It's just the way it is, and we deal with it, and it's a thing. But for the most part, I just play the music, and you know, I look for the sounds, I play the sounds, I send that music information to the mixer, and I record it on Ableton or something, you know. I don't really care about where the MIDI is going because I'm not really, you know, I'm just going from keyboard to keyboard. But this has got pretty good drum sounds, so if I want to use the drum sounds from this or from somewhere else, I don't want to be banging on this keyboard to play the drums. Because for all I know, it may pop the spring underneath the key or something. Oh shit, I got a message. Wait just a minute, I'll be right back. Alright, so I may have to I'm gonna cut this stream short a little bit. I may have to do a phone call. I will be back momentarily. So yeah, I'll get more into detail about the repair and what I'm planning on doing. I'm gonna stop the stream for now.